In this deep dive, we're going to be taking a look at Angel Jophiel. Now, one thing to keep in mind when we are looking at angels is that they do change the way that they come forward to us. They change the way that they have a relationship with us from time through time, and also by person to person, because it is a personal relationship that they do establish with us. You'll see if you look in some of the older texts and scriptures that angels tend to look very scary. They tend to be rather menacing. And the reason for that is because the society at that time was rather menacing. There was a lot of threats back then. Right now in this history, believe it or not, no matter what you hear on the news or hear on podcasts or hear from other people, your friends, or see on Facebook, we are actually living in the most quiet, calmest, most secure times that have ever that we have known been recorded in entire human history. Now, that it could have been quieter in earlier times, just that we don't have the recordings of it. Of course, if you look back at archaeology and history, you'll see that one thing that happens when one society takes over another is that they immediately destroy all the records of that previous society. So, as far as we know, our current society is actually the calmest, the quietest, the most secure. People live the healthiest, the longest, the most abundant. Really, this is a great time to live if you compare to all of the recorded times that we have for human beings. And therefore, angels are really going to come to us in a different way, because they have no ego about how they approach or appear to us. They simply are there, and they manifest to us through our perspective, through our lens, through our viewpoint, as does absolutely everything. So in this deep dive, we're going to be taking a look at Angel Jophiel. Probably one of the earliest recordings that we have of Angel Jophiel really appearing is in the Book of Tobit. Some would associate Jophiel with Raphael, but Jophiel, I really believe, comes from the Hebrew term, and it's actually pronounced Jophiel. And I will have a word, the actual Hebrew name, as you'll see in Hebrew, that is there. So that's how it would start. And you'll notice that a lot of things, like the common term we have now for Christ the Savior Jesus, is actually a transliteration of Yeshua. And part of that is because there is the J in a lot of languages is actually pronounced like a Y, and so the J would appear to actually pronounce the Y as in the Hebrew. But then when it got to the Europeans, and especially the English, as soon as they saw that J, they put a J into it. So that's why we see Jophiel turning into Jophiel. So however you want to say it is fine. She knows, or they know who they are. And that's another thing, and it's something I'm trying to break myself of. Very traditionally, we try to humanize absolutely everything. We give, pets and cars and furniture and clothes and everything. We give it a humanistic viewpoint. And we do the same thing even with the divine. Angels don't have a gender. They don't have, the sexual organs. Although they are very interested in sex, it's more about the actual sexual energies that we have, and the sexual centers that we have, and that's something that we'll go over when we get to actually Angel Hanael or Anael, which I see those as the same angel. Some people separate those. But anyway, going back to Jophiel, they are associated with wisdom, beauty, creativity. For me, Jophiel is the form and the function angel that really, they are known as the Feng Shui angel, and basically what they teach us is to look at everything in our lives, whether it's things, people, situations, our offices, our homes, our closets, our drawers, our desks, everything that's around us, even, the people that we talk to, the friends that we have, our inboxes on our email, just everything, to look at all of things and to make sure everything is either of form, function, or beauty. If it does not match any of those three things, then it needs to go, because everything that you have in your life, whether it's a person, it's a place, it's a thing, it's a situation, it's even an email sitting in your inbox, everything takes energy from you. Absolutely everything, even the finest things take energy from you. And what you want to do is you want to surround yourself with situations, things, etc., that give you back at least the same energy, if not more, than it costs you, so that you're at least at a energy neutral and hopefully at an energy positive, so that things are actually feeding to you. Because the things that surround you, like I listed before, they're all part of the divine. They're all part of the unknown, which is an infinite source of energy. And so it is able to give us as much as we possibly want. There is no end to how much it can give to us. So that is one thing we really want to keep in mind, and that is so helpful in all different ways and aspects for our lives, is to really ask that question of the people, the situations, the things, our closets, our drawers, our cars, our homes, even our, traditions, everything. Are you giving me at least as much energy or more than it's costing me to have you? I know I've been in holiday situations where so much preparation, so much time, effort, money has been spent, and did not seem to be the same amount of joy really being expressed in that situation. And it's just like, why would we be spending all this if it's not at least, giving back that same energy? So some different things. We're going to look at some different things that Angel Jophiel has in the past been known for, has been known for an angel of wisdom and understanding, associated with divine revelation and enlightenment. Has been known to help people to understand the mysteries of the universe and to gain insight into the nature of God and the divine. They have been described as a radiant and shining being with a countenance that is full of light and beauty. Now that is truly true for me, and said that Jophiel's presence can bring a sense of peace and joy to those who encounter them. And that is really true, because Jophiel is so much about that presence and so much about taking out all of the things that do not bring you joy, that do not bring you peace, that do not build you up. Because they're known as the creativity, wisdom, and spiritual enlightenment angel to some, they're also able to, they're there for the artist, they're there for the creative. Now for me, that would be more Archangel Gabriel, but we'll get into that. I really want to just really deep dive into what Jophiel has been known for and possibly could be known for you, because it's really, like I say, I know for me that the angels, I have a personal relationship with them, so it's something that it's like having a friend, it's like having a cohort or compatriot. Some have associated Jophiel with the inner light or the divine spark that's really resident in everybody, and able to help you to really connect with that inner light so they can guide you in your life. I've often told people that as a spiritual life coach, which is really what I see myself as an angelic metaphysician, that my job is for you not to need me, because I have really shown you your own empowerment and allowed you to find your own way to really go out and find your own answers. Some other things, Jophiel is also has been known in the Kabbalah tradition and is known there for wisdom and divine revelation. In the Catholic tradition, Jophiel is sometimes included in the list of the 7 archangels, along with Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Barachiel, and Siltial. So Jophiel is not necessarily mentioned in the Islamic tradition in the Quran, But some Islamic texts and traditions really associate Jophiel with wisdom and divine revelation and include them, in a list of archangels. So that is really a lot of the information of Jophiel. To me, really, it's about the beauty and the aesthetics. And when I say aesthetics, I don't mean that in a very kind of surface sort of way, but the aesthetics as far as your own mind and your own spaces being beautiful, so that it uplifts you and brings you forward. Kind of like when you're out in the forest, that beauty and the aesthetics that are there really just feeds you, and your surroundings really can do the same things for you as well. And so that's really, it's a great source of energy for you to be able to really allow yourself to have that, to tell yourself that you are important enough to be able to have those spaces that really feed you, and that you're not really required to have all of these different things that people might say that you need. So just a really quick rundown of some of the things. Number one would be associated with light and radiance. And then they are sometimes depicted with wings of gold or with a halo of light around the head. Wisdom and understanding, associated with wisdom and understanding, could be depicted with a book or a scroll to symbolize knowledge. Now for you, that would be a different angel. That'd be Zadkiel. Creativity and inspiration, associated with creativity and inspiration, and maybe depicted with artistic tools such as a paintbrush or a pen. For me, that'd be more Gabriel. Peace and joy, depicted with symbols of a dove or a rainbow, associated with the arts and mainly beauty and aesthetics. And that's where really, for me, Jophiel really kicks in. That is my own personal relationship with Jophiel, and she is one that usually what I will do is I will have Ganesh come in and clear out a space. Ganesh is in the Hindu tradition the elephant god, who is really known for clearing spaces, and so I'll have him clear out a space with his trunk. And then I'll have her come in and just kind of like do sort of a deep clean, where she, really, really cleans out everything and gets it, truly filled out. And one last thing I would like to say is, Jophiel. Whenever you see an EL on the end of a angel name, that always is a shortened form of the word Elohim, which means God. And Yopi means beauty. So really the name Jophiel is really thought to mean the beauty of God, or God's beauty. So that is really a beautiful thing to do. And I am going to be doing a mantra. I like to use a set of mala beads. For anybody that works with mala beads, that mala beads, there's 108 of them. So I have a 108 word mantra with Jophiel, and basically what you would do is with each word you would advance to the next bead, and then at the end of the mantra you would be at the end of the mala bead section. So I'll probably be following this up with that as well. Thank you so much for listening in and learning more about Jophiel. Jophiel is an amazing, powerful angel that can help you to clear your spaces, really help you to define what brings you beauty, what brings you form, what brings you function, what is actually completely of use to you in your spaces, make your spaces much more efficient, make you much more efficient. Usually people that don't get a lot of things done or feel like they're really overwhelmed, it's because you're filling up your spaces, your mind, your places, your situations, your relationships, etc., with things that are just not feeding you, the things that are just not right for you. And that means that it's not that they're not right for you at this time. And it's about having the awareness, number one, of that, and number two, having the faith that say you need those things in a couple years. you're going to be able to have those things, because that's usually why we hang on to things, is because we think, oh, well, what if I need it one day? Well, know that you are abundant enough to really need it. And if you haven't needed it so far, you're probably not going to need it later on. So that's just from an older guy, that's really the truth. So thank you for listening in, and love, peace, and release.